in the way of Kalista. Like, Lucian is statistically massively down in that matchup. I think it's like 9-1 or something absurd. But still, Gala and Hung gonna go for the Lucian Milio, having a pretty big mid-game spike themselves.
Yeah, and I might have pointed out that Lucian's Doggo's most played. Well, Kalista's the second most played. Only one game less at 6, so I think definitely going to feel good in this matchup. Like you said, should be able to find some of the aggression. Cassante, I was also going to highlight things like the Karma still left available. Kind of slipped past us in Game 1 draft, but LNG do have the option of going for it now, but it seems like preferring to maybe get a better matchup for Zika. He also has been one of the people who has pulled out the Gwen, and also someone I kind of think of over this past year for the Gwen itself.
Yeah, the Gwen, again, it's one of these picks that I was expecting to see a lot of since Cassante's in the meta, but it's just not really, when we have seen it, it's not been able to find the moments that we were hoping for. I will say, Zika actually punishing the Gwen a lot in their match against RNG. Like, Breathe was on the Gwen and Zika on the Cassante. They were, that, you know, when we were talking about the creative picks that LNG were able to find for themselves, it was on this Gwen that they were finding the picks, or against the Gwen, sorry, that they were finding the picks.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems like having confidence on either side of the matchup and knowing the champion incredibly well. Taking away the Vi from Hacker this time. I wonder what they'll go with next, because Zinja already taken off the board. It feels like those have been two of the high priority junglers, and it seems like they're fine with letting that one through. So now for WeiWei, I feel it's hard to predict what WeiWei will go for. He played Ivern in the first series, has played a game of Viego, has played some Brand, has played Lee Sin Sejuani. He's really been willing to pull out anything. Still having things like the Rel up as well, which I feel like we've been seeing kind of more of in these past few days after it fell out of favor a little bit. Maybe in part due to Tien getting the pentakill on it. I want to believe that.
The real pentakill. I kind of forgot about that. It happened, I was amazed, and then it just left my brain again. Oh man, that was something else. The Smolder going to be hovered again. I'm pretty sure it was Doggo hovering it last time. I'm not going to fall for it this time, Doggo. You can't bait me. It's going to be the Poppy coming through for LNG. Definitely a strong lock-in against Kalista. Cassante. Feels fantastic to have the Poppy on your side.
Yeah, we still have things. Yeah, so Poppy going to do a lot to dissuade things like Cassante and the Kalista. We still have things like Nico left open, but Yuekai hasn't actually gravitated towards it at all. I've already mentioned that we do have the Karma available, but I'd be kind of wondering about Ultra Prime's damage the longer the game went on. So maybe having to lean into something that he hasn't played, like that Nico in this game. Ooh.
Orianna could be the pick. Orianna, terrible, terrible win rate in the LPL. Okay, calm. That's more like it. Although, his composition doesn't exactly feel very calm.
No.
You don't have much of a jungler to work with.
You have Maokai in the jungle. You kind of have Kalista down bot. It's like, sure, you can like speed her up, enable her to get around more, but it doesn't really feel like you're setting up any big carry. Even if, again, Karma's going to do tons of damage early on in the game, and even in mid-game, you're going to have a lot of bursts that you're able to play with. We're going to see LNG feeling comfortable with Scout going towards the Orianna. Another interesting one with the fact that you really don't have any setup for you to look for the Shockwave, so a lot is going to be on Scout himself to kind of just find it, set up the positioning, try and corral Ultra Prime in, and find the big play.
Let's see if they can find it. Certainly feels like the combo is available. That Poppy sets you up for the Orianna so well. If they don't have Flash, there's no way out of the potential Shockwave. And it does feel like, again, proactive tools in the kit for LNG, and that's good to see. That's good to see them drafting in a way where they kind of do have to be a bit more aggressive. They do have to try and push things forward in the mid-game. We'll see, though. The Kalista could be a problem for them. Ultra Prime, I'm a little less convinced by their draft. It doesn't feel like they necessarily all have one simple, easy win condition to work towards.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Because you have champions like Maokai and Karma that do exceptionally well from kind of like zoning you off, playing from a range, but then also having the Kalista down as your bot lane. So obviously gonna want to play this a lot more aggressively, and that's what we're gonna be focused on, right? The 2v2 down in bot. We don't expect any action really coming out from mid or jungle. Top, sure, there's gonna be some trading there, but it's gonna be all about Kalista Renata versus Lucian Milio.
Let's see how it's gonna go down. Maybe the idea is Maokai and Karma zone everyone while Kalista does the Drake. Maybe that's the strategy. We'll have to wait and see. An exciting drafts though today. We've had lots of different picks coming on through. The Poppy jungle this time, Gwen up in the top side, which we've not seen much of this year. Let's see if Ultra Prime can take it on here in game 2.
You know, yeah, we're
The
just...
crowd is electric in there.
I heard, I don't know if we're just coming in after the gyos, but I heard like some gyos in the background.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a crowd mic diff.
Yeah, that could honestly be it, right?
But
I want to
maybe
hope, I want to believe that it's something like that.
If that's the case, though, it's also like a cameraman diff, because whoever is in charge of the crowd shot did pick the most half-asleep looking members of the audience to show if the rest of the team is doing gyos at the time. Either way, let's move on. As Gala going to go for the first strike on the Lucian. He's got that Ignite. This time, you know, we were talking about Ignite versus Cleanse earlier on Lucian when it was up against the Twisted Fate and the Jhin and this like sort of CC combo. Obviously, you don't have as much CC to deal with as Gala this time around. And you've got a Milio, so you have that Cleanse sort of built in with Milio's ultimate. So you can expect, hopefully, a bit of a better Lucian performance than what we saw earlier today in our first series.
And everything's going to be on Gala's shoulders, really, in my mind. Like, sure, Scout and Zika are going to come online, right? But if they want to get themselves off to a good, advantageous position, it's all about bot. Both junglers realizing that. You can see Hacker and WeiWei starting. Well, I guess for WeiWei start on Raptors, but is going to eventually make his way down as well. Both junglers realizing what their win con is. I would expect Yuekai to be able to start finding pressure as those mantra Qs come on through. That might give some more opportunity there for Hacker. But like you said, I think not a whole lot of potential in terms of ganking mid between these guys. Maybe you can blow a flash running someone down with Karma and then getting the root there. But the question would be, the longer the game goes on, do you really have the damage between you and the Maokai? So definitely going to be safer not looking towards that lane.
Yeah. Top lane could be a potential point of power, especially for the side of LNG with this Gwen. Excited to see what Zika can do on the pick. Should be able to build himself a pretty sizable CS lead, and WeiWei knows that he has unlimited prio up in that top side. He's looking for Hacker here, just forces the buff to reset and forces Hacker out of the jungle. I love that from WeiWei.
I mean, has the red buff, he's on Poppy, he's already pretty decent in these early duels and early skirmishes.
Oh.
I wonder, is he wrapping around?
Hunting.
Yeah.
He's hunting. He doesn't care about the blue buff. There we go, Hacker. Forced away. The Wolves are already done. And so WeiWei grabs himself a buff. Really nice and
wait a second. And, I mean, in mid, Yuekai does it prio if he wanted to start coming over, but looks like he might just try and go for a cheeky smite.
He's shown himself, so he can't go for the super secret smite. And blue buff will reset, but Yuekai's moved over. That should be enough. Hacker should be able to secure this. WeiWei missed his Q on the scuttle grab. A little awkward. But Yuekai, the MVP of this play for the side of Ultra Prime. And also, Doggo actually roaming. Why is Jwei staying bot? Doggo's roaming? I'm not really sure. Yuekai, looking for the route on Scout. Won't find it.
What an interesting first 4 minutes. Flash through.
Okay, flash out from Scout WeiWei. Steadfast presence. Doggo just misses a boatload of CS to, I guess they got mid-flash.
Like, our two...
This seems really terrible to me.
Munch, our enemy jugglers have been holding hands for, like, the past 3 minutes. Our Kalista is solo roaming to mid at level 2. Like, yeah, a bit of an odd one. Doggo will at least get back here to be able to pick up pretty much all of this CS. But LNG, I think Gala going to be happy with the early reset.
Yeah. What a weird sequence of play. Like, how often do you see support staying bot and ADC roaming? 10 CS down now in that bot lane, which, you know, again, we talked about it before. Typically has been a Kalista-favored matchup here in the LPL. You see a lot of those trades going the way of the Kalista. It's especially if you can dodge the Q using your passive, the Lucian Q, you can sort of sidestep it. That's really where the difference can be found. But hey, Gala, he gets a reset off of the back of all of this.
Yeah, so gonna come back with the shard. Also, some pretty nice vision around the bot half of the map overall for LNG. We could see having those two like deeper wards one at Tribrush and one around the Raptor camp. So they're going to be able to keep looking to punish in the 2v2. And hell, Ward's already paying off, right? Full information of what Jwei is up to.
He will at least be able to deal with this control ward. Was pinged earlier by his team, so Jwei will be able to deal with that one. And fight for a little bit more vision control. But LNG, 600 gold ahead. Somehow just CS lead in the bot lane, CS lead in the top lane. Just slowly but surely eking themselves an advantage out. Ultra Prime, though, loving these Drakes today. They got the first two in the previous game. They tried to continue stacking, and that went a little bit wrong. But this time around, that first Drake should just be theirs. It's WeiWei on these grubs.
Looks like Decade trying to get a bit of information, but Zika would very easily be able to follow. As we can see on the minimap, he's doing so already. Oh, Ultra Prime want to stop this.
Where are the solo laners at? WeiWei is just abandoned by his team. Oh no! Oh, it's a disaster. The smack comes out, but it leaves it on 100 HP. Doggo in the meantime taking a chunk in the bottom side. Yeah,
I wonder if they can even go for this with how low Ultra Prime's bot lane is.
Doggo might die here. Heal comes out from Gala and Hung just to try and deal with this minion wave. They're underneath the tower here, and Doggo gets it. He survives. Great dive by Ultra Prime.
It actually feels like walking forward to put even more pressure on Doggo maybe ended up fighting him a little bit had they pulled back and turned on the Maokai. Because then at least Ultra Prime's bot lane had to walk towards your turret. But overall, I guess really nice by Ultra Prime. It didn't look like that dive should have been possible, but they made it possible, and they even got the kill onto the priority member with the Kalista.
Great stuff coming out by Ultra Prime. Now Yuekai chased by WeiWei. And the fact that the solo lanes from Ultra Prime managed to stop WeiWei going. Oh no, Yuekai flashes into the grub pit. No top lane interference on this play, so Yuekai walks away with his life, but that's flash burned.
They do get the flash from that. Nice for him to not go down to the shockwave with the fast fingers. We're going to see here of how all this trading came through. Ignite coming out super early. They force out the shield as well. And this is where it's like, all right, I'm very skeptical. You can see Gala wanting to move forward to try to finish off Doggo before he goes down. Probably still would have gone down if he walked back and tried to fight up towards the Maokai, but I think there would have been potentially more outplay potential there to find the 1-for-1.
Yeah. Maybe even just like flashing to the other side of the tower as Hacker Twisted advances in so that Hacker's kind of stuck under the tower as well. Maybe you can do something with that. I don't know. Either way, it's Ultra Prime making it happen. And that has closed the gold gap. It is still LNG ahead in gold, despite the fact that the dive worked out. But Doggo having that kill will be crucial for them.
The one thing I gotta say from what we've seen so far in the first 8 minutes of this game, especially with LNG having no like very easy like point and click CC. I mean, right, the best you're gonna get is the Poppy ult once WeiWei hits 6. It's like it's not super easy to start up fights on your own terms or actually follow through with finishing key targets off, like we saw when Yuekai was able to escape after he flashed away. So
one thing it is easy to do on Poppy is dive. And they might just be looking for that. As WeiWei, level 6, Doggo takes a chunk from the Cullen. Jwei denied entry back into the lane there, but Q can proc Guardian as well. Hacker in the area, but spotted on that control ward. Jwei just keeps on getting chunked out here by Gala.
Right now, both junglers in the area. Ult comes out from Hacker.
Yeah, they knew he was here. Oh no, dodged away from the hostile takeover is huge from Jwei. Gala forced underneath the tower. The stun lands against the wall. Hacker's gonna go down. Oh my days, the bailout pulls it back from the brink, but it does not matter. WeiWei grabbing himself a kill. And now Gala sticking around. Oh, it's dangerous.
Ends up being a 1-for-1. Gala getting out. Gosh, so close, but another kill going over to the Kalista. So now 2-0-0 for Doggo.
Really, really close one. As hey, LNG, this felt a little disrespectful to stay, and WeiWei's ult dodged by the Twisted advance.
Yeah, that was the key thing for me, right? And then really nice scramble smash pushing him into Doggo. Getting hypey, wanting to finish this one off. A bit unfortunate, but WeiWei does get the knockback into the wall to tie him down even longer. And that was enough for LNG to find the 1-for-1.
Oh, and we got more Poppy action here happening live. Jwei over the wall. That's another flash burned. Scout didn't go for the shockwave in the end. Oh my days, the triple blast go and play. They accidentally left Hung behind. He's looking for the football kick. He can't find it. It's Jwei trying to get underneath the tower, but Poppy loves going under towers. WeiWei sets it up and gets a kill for LNG.
But still, I feel like we're seeing how hard it is for LNG to actually like commit and confirm these kills.
Yeah.
No great way of locking them down. Do find the one, aren't going to stick around in the jungle for too long. They're going to get vision of Hacker pretty soon with the control ward they have on red.
And honestly, I'm just happy that we're in a game between Ultra Prime and LNG, and we're seeing action. We're seeing teams trying to do things. I always like watching Poppy. Poppy's such a fun champion in the jungle. But it's good to see that WeiWei's aware of the fact that these are... It's going to be hard to just start fights later on, so trying to build these leads.
Yeah, trying to find what he can now. We do have Dragon coming up in 8 seconds, and Ultra Prime right now are the ones who have prio in both mid and bot. You do have the Scuttle Relic there for LNG, so they'll know exactly what's going on, and Scout is TP. Without the Shockwave, I wonder if they could really try and contest.
Well, walking in. I don't know if this is really a fight that they can take, but at very least of calling onto Jwei. And perhaps they can deny entry into the bottom lane. I'm not so sure, to be honest. Ultra Prime, they look like they want the fight, but WeiWei's here. The Poppycopter is available. Okay, they will back away in the end. It looked like quite aggressive posturing for a moment there from LNG, but
yeah, it did.
Decided not to go for it.
I mean, it was really aggressive posture with really not much they were able to do there. Especially Scout holding on to his TP to just walk back to lane, since they knew they wouldn't go for the fight in the end. And we finally have first items being completed. Zika having that Rift Maker, but I guess top doesn't matter as Hacker wanting to make Gala's life a living hell again, potentially. Gala doesn't have Flash.
Yeah. I wouldn't have minded if they just committed to the Maokai up there and hunt for something. Hostile takeover too, the Fate's Call. I feel like there was reasonable follow-up. Perhaps wanting to save those ultimates for later down the line, but you know, Gala not having his flash available, maybe there was a window. Zika, good job of building a lead up in that top side, but it's not anything too dramatic right now. 10 CS, it's a nice lead to have, but not enough to break open the game at this point, as Decade actually going to be forced back to base. It's an opportunity for Zika to perhaps get a couple of hits on tower, but the whole gang is here from Ultra Prime, so he does need to be cautious not to overstep.
And now, I mean, Ultra Prime reveal where their bot lane is, but still for LNG, not really positioned to answer with anything. You can see Gala making his way back down to bot himself. They aren't in position to try to trade on opposite sides of the map. WeiWei defaulting to just picking up the camps that are left available. So Ultra Prime with a nice move. So far, just finding some pretty easy objectives. 2 dragons up, getting some more grubs under their belt. Should make their way to the 5 mark. Much better start than game 1.
Yeah. And it feels like, you know, the issues with the LNG composition we've been talking about, where it's difficult to enact your will on the enemy, aside from these early turret dives, well, those issues don't exist for Ultra Prime. Like, you've got a Maokai for hard engage, you can also, like, kite back. The one problem is, like we talked about, Karma Kalista, not exactly a carry combo that's known for, you know, dominating games, and the Maokai in the jungle alongside Karma, typically you like to see a Jax or a Xin Zhao, something like this with your Karma, even a Graves. But yeah, we'll see if they can work it out later on.
And I mean, right, I mean, things like Malignant, some of the items coming through, it's like Karma does do a whole lot of damage that you got to be conscious of. But I definitely think when you look at LNG side with Gwen, with Orianna, with Lucian, they're definitely going to be pumping out more DPS, and Ultra Prime can keep up with later. But I'm never a big fan of compositions that don't really have easy ways to engage on the target, and they don't outrange either. They're going to look for a fight now.
TP in from Decade to set up for this Herald. The Poppycopter denied by the Fate's Call. Nicely done by Ultra Prime, and maybe a fight as well as Hung knocked up. Hostile takeover. Won't connect though, and now WeiWei charges in. Hacker, the target here, as the needlework flies on through from Zika. I don't know how well they can actually finish a kill here, but Zika's still wanting a little bit more. Not willing to dive and forced away.
Time and time again, neither team able to commit onto the other, so both sides just going to walk away with some summoners being burnt, right? Ghosts on our top laners. Hong did have to use his flash. No TP anymore on Scout or Decade. But not dramatically changing the situation of the map.
TP for TP on the bottom side as well, as I swear Yuekai didn't take any damage from that QW. It definitely hit him. Must have got his shield in the last second there. Looking at WeiWei this game. 2 kills for him, 2 kills for Doggo. Yeah, like you generally prefer to have the kills on a Kalista rather than a Poppy, but you'd be surprised at what Poppy can do with a bit of gold, to be fair. You do become a little bit unkillable sometimes, so...
Look, I'm just saying, you slam a Bloodthirster on Poppy in TFT, she's 2-star, what do you even do? You do nothing. You just accept the fact you're going to get beat down. I mean, Jwei doesn't have to accept that, though, because he's the handshake, but I do in my TFT games.
The one thing I will say is, in TFT, like, saying what do you do is kind of redundant, because when it comes to the actual fight, you don't do anything regardless of the situation. You can have a level 1 Warwick versus a level 1... I don't know any TFT champions, but, you know, you still don't do anything.
That is fair. That is... And, you know... Kind of similar to this game, both teams have been attempting to do things. Nothing really able to stick for either one. We do have first items pretty much coming out across the board. The one difference being in jungle, Hacker already having that Abyssal Mask all completed, so going to try and enable the damage for Yuekai even more as well.
Yeah. Let's see, Drake spawning on the map now. Last time around, this is where things went real sideways for Ultra Prime. Oh, taking a chunk from Doggo as the Herald slammed in the mid lane here. Oh, Steadfast Presence denies the escape from Hacker. This is a huge pick potentially, but Hacker gets out with his flash. 1 HP, double shockwave in from Scout. A huge fight for LNG. Doggo goes down as Zika is slicing through the Ultra Prime lineup. What a fight from LNG.
Maybe not over, Gala. Dashing forward, getting a little bit excited, but looks like nothing should be able to come from it. It means LNG will be able to pick up their first Drake of the game. So doing good things by them now. Not only 2-0 Poppy, a 2-0 Gwen. That is going to be a difference maker in these fights.
It really is. Let's take another look, because it was actually this Steadfast Presence, not even really, you know, they can't find an engage, but they don't need to when they can deny the escape instead.
And that's the thing, right? There's kind of like a bunch of individuals stepping up instead of like some cohesive, like big team fight. First Steadfast Presence and a great shockwave coming from Scout, and then the needlework allows Zika to keep running people down. So we just got to see LNG have 3 different members kind of have 3 individual pop-offs just put together so beautifully.
And honestly, that is what you want to see for LNG. Like, with the way that this team has been playing across the course of this split, if there's anything you can take away from this game, it's individuals looking really good and, like, finding their mojo, because that really has been the issue in my mind for LNG. There have been other issues, but I think it's all rooted in these players not really feeling like themselves. That shockwave from Scout, that felt vintage to me.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're saying about the individual stepping up is what feels like it's been missing, because LNG pretty much had a similar style for many years, for many different iterations of the roster. Always being a bit slower, a bit more methodical, but their individuals this time around not stepping up. LNG will be able to force in mid. No engage. No engage able to come through.
Yeah, I mean, without Hacker there, it's not really any way to properly start a fight, although, speaking of Hacker, let's have a fight started onto him. Gala dashes away to safety. WeiWei pretty tanky at this point, and Hung. The football flies into Decade's face. We've all felt that in the playground. That hurts.
You know, I gotta say, it is a bit unfortunate how WeiWei not being able to connect any of these ults, really, in this game so far. Despite the fact he's been able to find pressure and find kills. The ult's just not slapping the way they used to. Is Nashor's Tooth. It's actually finished by Zika during his last back. So, not exactly a full item up over Decade. We can see with the 20 CS lead, he is finding an advantage, and especially with the Nashors, the 1v1's only going to get harder.
Interesting to see this kind of build from Gala. Like, he's building for Lucian to do damage, which, you know, based on the games we've seen today, is a very strange way to approach playing Lucian. Yeah.
It just feels so crazy that happened, man. Like, LWX was trying to figure something out, and, you know, I'm waiting for the research papers, because I'm sure he's onto something.
Yeah, there must have been some logic. I don't know what it was, but maybe he just, like, you know, when you're kind of in autopilot a little bit, and you by the wrong... It's like when you're playing Varus and you played Lethality last game, you're meant to be playing on hit, and then you base against Ray Dirk. Maybe that happened. Shockwave on in. WeiWei in the midst of everyone. The hostile takeover straight between the goalposts here. LNG haven't found a kill, but they've found themselves that space. They've forced Ultra Prime away.
They forced him away for now. We'll see how much more they're able to do around this mid lane turret now that Decade has joined up too. Doesn't seem like it's going to be anything. And again, that's why I'm going to kind of keep coming back to these drafts, because it just feels so hard for either team to meaningfully push the game forward. Please give us Ornn, give us Alistar, the Nautilus. You know, let's push a Q and then CC someone for years.
Yeah. There's Morgana when you need it. Maybe not Morgana. Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I feel like there's all of the memes of LNG being super slow. I feel like they are actually trying to do things in this game. It just, this draft really doesn't allow them to do anything. Yuekai will be able to move up.
They will be impossible to run into for Ultra Prime, you know, once we get to like Dragon standoffs or Barons. Until that time.
To see Yuekai not save the tower, I guess, wanting to deny local gold, figuring it's going to go down at some point anyway, perhaps. I'm not sure.
I definitely think that's the reasoning behind it and something we've seen in the past. Now, Dragon, 30 seconds until it's up. Taking stock of what summoners we have. Yuekai not having flash because of that previous engage. WeiWei with having flash. If he can get right on top of the Karma, Scout throws the ult, you should be able to confirm and turn that into a kill.
So 2 items on Doggo at this point. We'll be taking a look at what he's able to do during these fights. His locked cam perspective coming into play. We'll see if he's able... Oh, hang on. Hack just flashes in for the engage, and look at this. Combo onto Scout. Zonia's keeps him alive for now. Shockwave, and he flashes onto Doggo as well. Buying so much space for his team, but I don't know if it'll work. Oh, Zika's onto the backline. Zika is shredding Ultra Prime right now, but knocked back by the Q3, and Doggo survives. Triple kill as the Drake will be taken.
Ultra Prime, they were able to be decisive. They were able to use their engage tools to pull the trigger, and that's why we love them, is now they're going to start heading up towards that Baron.
Not only the Baron, I think the Dragon probably as well, as everyone resets on LNG. They know that they couldn't just rush that one, although perhaps they can move in with these Hex Gates to get the Drake while the Baron is going down. At least something for LNG, because Ultra Prime, they know they've got this Baron down pat. Fantastic stuff. Such decisive play.
Yeah, I mean, that's the word for it. LNG trying to be aggressive when I think they just have to funnel closer to the Dragon as it spawns. Like you said, great combo from the Maokai and the Cassante to make sure Scout goes down. He tries to get Doggo, but it isn't enough damage in the end. And then we have a battle between, like, Doggo and Zika. Doggo, I love, he just kind of runs past the Gwen to keep doing damage. But there's the Q3 that you pointed out to make sure they find the kill. Yeah. And it's a bit weird. I don't mean this as flame, but the fact that Karma doesn't even have a single assist in this game is a bit surprising.
How? Just press Mantra E one time, dude. This is a conversation I was having with Kelsey on, like, the value of Karma in a lot of these games. A lot of mid laners just pressing Mantra Q endlessly on the fights. You know, it definitely gets the serotonin rolling, but the shield can be so valuable and set your team up to carry, especially when you've got things like this Kalista that's got 5 kills.
I feel like it's the best part.
Shields in.
Yeah, like having the shields up, especially when it's paired with any, like, bruisers that have sustain at top. Like, I love when we have an Aatrox alongside it, because it really can just make them so annoying to deal with. But, you know, Yuekai hasn't needed an assist this game. Doggo, able to get the work done with Hacker or Jwei. I mean, Decade in that last fight, too.
Like, Yuekai was the guy we were highlighting coming into the game, and he's just sort of watched the game happening around him. Redemption, getting some value. Scout is overstepped again, I fear, as Gala trying to get some damage down, trying to make it work, but Scout goes down. Hacker, the twisted advance, finally dies, but it's 2 kills already. Zika can't really do a lot on the backside, and gets rooted up by Yuekai as well. Luckily, the Cozy Campfire keeps him alive. Needle workforce down. LNG, it doesn't feel like they can do anything in this game.
No, I mean now, right? 5k gold lead, for Ultra Prime. Doggo with 3 items is massive. One of the disparities has actually also been in mid lane. It looks like it's evened out now. I wonder if we're going to see another item able to be finished by Yuekai, who did have more items in the last fight we saw. But here, Shockwave, it comes through. Not a whole lot of damage to be done by Scout at this point in the game. Like, the Redemption pretty much nullifies anything that Scout did. And then again, left in an awkward position. I'm sure there's a world where if the series is played 10 times with these drafts, you know, LNG win with their draft. But again, I really feel like I feel like we're really seeing the struggles of, like, again, not having easy ways to just look for engage, to force fights to turn. Once you're on objectives first to turn, when you had position on River before that last Dragon fight. Also, like, some missteps.
Moments like this from Scout and in the previous fight as well, where he's like trying to get damage onto Hacker before the fight begins. Like, you know, sure, is it mispositioning? Yeah, probably. But he's just like trying to get something done in a game where it feels like impossible to get something done. Doggo caught by the shockwave, but he's totally all right. Zika jumps onto the backside of the play. 1v5 on this one. Somehow gets away with his life.
It's really all up to him. I mean, with Scout going, the Seraphs and the Zanyas going a very defensive build, not a whole lot of damage. It's only the Gwen. I mean, with this, it feels insurmountable.
Everything's on cooldown for LNG. This Ultra Prime kind of doing what LNG did to them in the first game. Just walking forwards and saying, what are you gonna do about it, buddy? Good little knockback by Decade as well. Scout uses that Zonius to keep himself alive. Cozy Campfire keeps him up. Gala clearing the wave. LNG have kept themselves in the game here. Hacker doesn't quite go down. Oh, it's so close, but Gala just doesn't have the damage, and Yuekai finds a snipe onto Hung as well. Maybe he's overstayed, but maybe not. Scout flashing forwards to do no damage at all. And now Zika desperately trying to chase. Surely they can find something. Surely. No! But the Mantra E finally comes in, and it's enough to get everyone out.
They managed to escape. Yuekai walking away with not only assists, but has picked up some kills off the back of it as well. LNG's base absolutely in tatters.
Yeah, this one's been tough. This one's been tough to watch. LNG absolutely getting wrecked on this one. As they're, what, like 6,000, 6,500 gold down. Maybe the super minions crashing into the base will be enough gold for them to able to actually hurt this roster of Ultra Prime.
Yeah, I mean, we see Ultra Prime, I think, being a little bit overzealous for the end without the minions already being here. It buys a lot of time for LNG to try and find the go button. But I cannot believe no member went down. There's the snipe that you pointed out. But they were able to kite that out so well.
And how do you win game 1 in the way that LNG won game 1 and look like this in game 2? Because it feels like it's not just been the comp, you know, this has been a really awkward game from a couple of players, chiefly Scout. I don't know. Tough to watch right now. I had a bit of faith for LNG after game 1. I had a bit of faith that it was all gonna turn around. Doesn't feel like it right now. Here we go. Ultra Prime. Look for the engage. Oh boy, Sombrero. Hostile takeover. Scout's gone. And Ultra Prime now could just walk into the base. Hacker chunked, but the shields come on through. And Ultra Prime, all they have to do is play it slow. Supers are already about to win the game for them. They're moving in both bot and top lane. That's the third inhib down. They can just waltz this one in, Lyric.
Yeah, they're going to keep it going. Doggo is getting a bit chunked. They got to be careful, like you said. They got to rely on the supers they have available to them. Let them do the heavy lifting.
Zika's getting some good damage down. So there's that. They're actually not going to end the game. They actually have to back away again. LNG holding on for dear life.
It's actually funny that this map state is like one of the best ways for LNG to find fights, right? Because it's like, hey, they have to come for our Nexus to win the game. That's our opportunity to be able to engage on you. This has been the moment they've been waiting for.
Are you saying this is intentional from LNG? This is how you play out this composition? Just like lose everything on the map, and then they have to walk towards your Nexus so you find the fight.
Look,
it's genius.
There's always a concept of like making the map big versus small, right? If you're playing like side lanes at picks, you're making the map bigger, pulling them apart. When you're team fighting, you're making it small. LNG wanted to make it as small as they possibly could, The only map that exists is right in front of their Nexus. Now, I mean, now Crit Bloom done on Zika, I believe we're above 3 items on Gala too. Like, you're now getting to a point where some of these carries actually deal damage. Maybe it's only Scout really the one still not pumping out any. But if Zika finds a fight where he gets on the backline and can get needlework through everyone, is there a world where they come back? I still want to be hopeful. I want to think this is the master plan.
It's always good to have hope there. At least you've got that. LNG, last chance saloon here for them. This Decade just menacingly approaches. Scout loses half of his HP to 1Q. And he'll be sent packing back to the fountain. Perhaps he can afford a Crypt Bloom. Perhaps that's the way back in here. A bit of magic pen so that his no damage can pierce through the MR. Ultra Prime guys, come on. Let's finish this one out. Like you've had the ability to win for a little while now.
Honestly, I think the fight could be rough. They're very timid, but not willing to just go for the save for the dragon. They are going to look for the engage.
Gala gets the cleanse. Finally, an ult hits from WeiWei, and Hacker's overset. Surely not. Surely this is not the moment. Shockwave misses again as Zika pulled apart by his lane opponent. And there we have it, Ultra Prime. It looked a little dicey for a second, but they too finished the game. It was harder than perhaps it needed to be, but a win is a win at the end of the day.
I do love the strategic game plan by LNG. Again, make the map as small as you can to force them to fight us. Well, didn't work today. Ultra Prime able to pull it through. Doggo kind of being the big one setting it up. But man, that game was so... Hell, we had both enemy jugglers like holding hands for the first 4 minutes of the game. What was that?
This series has been weird, man. What a weird series. We're going to jump into a break, and God only knows what's going to